Hey everybody, this is EonShiKeno. Today I'm going to have some tips for you Zerg players out there. I'm going to show you how to deal with a Protoss player who Forge Fast Expands into Stargate. Now the the Forge Fast Expand into Stargate was popularized by MC a couple weeks, probably months ago, but depending on when you watch this video, but popularized by MC. Used it to great effect, but now it's pretty much been solved. You can easily get past the harass of the Void Rays and Phoenixes and come out ahead after the harass. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to deal with that particular strategy. And in the future, every time you see the Protoss player for that Forge Fast Expanding in Stargate, you'll be loving it because you'll be knowing exactly how to dominate it. So let's jump right into it. So you've just scouted your opponent. You see they're going for Forge Cannon, and of course you scout the expansion. So they're going for the Forge Fast Expand. And now in this situation, the first thing you want to do is you're going to continue to drone. We're going to look at here. This is a standard Zerg going a Speedling Expand. You can see here he's already has speed finished. Make that second queen. Already has his expansion down. But as soon as you see that Forge Fast Expand, you'll want to, at about, what is this, 35 supply, take a drone, move to your third base, and then go ahead and take another expansion. Now you may be wondering, that sounds really risky. Should I do that? You'll be fine. Whenever they do this Forge Fast Expand, there's a long period of time where the Protoss player doesn't have any money. They don't have any units, so they can't actually apply any pressure. So you're very safe in doing this, and it's going to help you get a huge economic elite against your opponent. So we're going to see here, he's going to send his second queen over to his natural. And you can see the production tab, just continual drone production. So many drones. By the time he hits you with the Void Rays and Phoenixes, you're just going to have such a huge lead. You're going to have such a huge lead with drones that your economy is just going to be huge, and you'll be able to overwhelm your opponent. And that's kind of what this strategy is built around. So you can see instantly taking another hatchery. I mean, what does he have? He's got 2 Zerglings out. I mean, that's it. Not very many Zerglings, already transferring some drones over here to the left. Now the next thing I want to talk about is something that's equally as important. Whenever you're going to go for a macro build, especially with Zerg, you want to keep the number of drones you have on the multiple number of bases as even as possible. You want them spread out and optimized. So you can see here pretty much the same number of drones except for a couple more. He's probably going to have more rally to this point, but you want to have them even between all the bases. That way they're as optimal as possible. So at about the 7-minute mark here, we can see that Sheth is actually the player we're watching. This game is going to go ahead and suicide an Overlord in the top of the base here. You want to scout. Okay, are they going to go for a 6 gate? Are they going to go for a Fast Colossus? Or are they going to go for Starport? It's usually either, or I mean, it could be DTs obviously, but you want to scout. You want to know what you're up against. If they're going for like a 6 gate, like all in or something like that, you're going to have a different reaction. This specific reaction is designed to beat the Stargate play. Now we can see in the production tab he is going Stargate, but Sheth does not know that yet. I do love the position of these Overlords. You have to have Overlords on either side of your opponent's base. That way you can suicide them in, scout out everything. Now this early on in the game, about the 7-minute mark, your opponent isn't going to have that many anti-air units. So we can see here, what does he have? He's got 1 Sentry coming out right now, and he's starting a Stargate. He went for a pretty early Stargate, 1 gateway, or sorry, Forge Fast Expand, gateway into Stargate, so pretty early Stargate. He wants to get that harass going. But let's jump back to the scouting here. We can see from Sheth's vision, he's going into scouting in from the top here, just looking to see what his opponent is going for. I mean, that's going to decide which path he's going to take. He's scouting in from the top, and he's getting closer. He's getting closer. Boom, there it is. He sees it. He sees the Stargate. He can actually see the Void Ray in here coming out. You can see the little outline of it, and he sees the chrono boosting. So he knows he's going to expect some pressure. He knows there's going to be a Void Ray coming. All right, that's cool. Void Ray is going to be coming. I need to prepare for it. And then we'll look at how Sheth decides to prepare against this particular build. So Sheth has just scouted out his opponent's Stargate. He knows a Void Ray is on the way. And we can see here, look at his production tab. He's getting 1 more queen. Queen is being built at his expansion. He just spent his gas on his hatchery. We're going to see here he's going to want to tech up his hatchery. That way he's going to be able to get out some Hydra, which will be his AA for this game. And he's still doing drone production. Look at the drone production. 6 more coming out. And let's let these pop out. Actually, it was up to 7 there at one point. And you can look at the harvester difference already, 51 versus 43, already starting out with a huge lead here with the economy, and transferring some drones over here to his expansion, where he has that his 3rd queen already at. And this right here, this is super important. Spread creep tumors from your 2nd base, your natural, to your 3rd. You want it. The reason you want to have these creep tumors down is that way you can get your queens over to your third base to reinforce it. Now, you may be wondering, why do I want to spread creep that way? Well, the point of this Protoss Stargate opening is to deny the third. Optimally, you want, as a Protoss player, you want to get to the third, kill queens, and kill the hatchery. But that's one of the benefits of going a really early hatchery, is because you get the creep spread out there, you already get drones there, and you can put down a spore crawler. So just spread creep, incredibly important. That way you can bring all your queens over to your third base to defend it. And then, of course, constant drone production. And we see here, he already has an Evo chamber up that we're going to see. He's going to be using that to create some spore crawlers later on. We can see here, Sheth is scouting once again into his opponent's base. Now, you're probably thinking, why would he do that? He scouted the starport, you know, that makes sense. Well, the one thing you want to watch out for, if your opponent does go for a Stargate, they could easily make one Void Ray and then stop all production. So then you're making, you know, Hydra, you're making spore crawlers, and they have one area, and it's kind of a waste. So the point of this Overlord, from what from my understanding, or the reason I think it's useful, is he's scouting in here. He's going to go straight in here for the Stargate, just going to make sure that he's still making air units. If he's still making air units, then your investment into the extra queens and the extra spore crawlers are going to be worth it. And you can see here, he's chrono boosting a Stargate. He's obviously going to have a lot more air units than just the one Void Ray. So we can see here, he's starting one spore crawler at each base, one here at his second, one here at his main, and one here at his expansion. And I like this. Look at this right here. 2 queens already at his third. He knows that the Protoss player is going to focus on going for that third. For one, it's the closest to his base, so it's the shortest distance to travel, and it's kind of out here on its own. But as you can see, the spore crawler just about finished. The creep highway here for the queens is really close to being done. Just a little bit of patch here, but the big majority of it, like this whole area, if there was no creep here, this queen would take forever to get over here to defend with. So you can see your spore crawler up, queens up, and whenever you want to place your queens, try and keep them as close to this spore crawler as possible. These queens have really far anti-air range. What is that? Yeah, 9 range versus air. So you can keep them next to the spore crawler, and they'll protect most of your larvae. You don't have to worry about the Void Ray getting charged up on killing your hatchery or anything if you keep them close together. So here comes the standard harass. You have your Void Ray charged up, dealing a bunch of damage, and your 2 Phoenixes picking up your queens so they can attack. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. You want to keep your queens next to the spore crawler. Whenever he attacked, he had a spore crawler over here and his queens over here. So he attacked here from the left. Spore crawler was forced to move a little bit. So just one thing there. And look at this continual creep spread right there. But look at that. Quickly taking these 2 queens, coming over here reinforced, falling back. But now once again, he sees the harass coming once again. He's going to grab these queens and then bring them up here to defend with. Nice control there from the Phoenixes, but losing another queen. But look at this. Here we go. 2 queens coming over. They want to make sure that Void Ray doesn't get charged up, and he's going to focus the Void Ray down first. Taking that Void Ray out, doing a lot of damage to it. Another queen coming out, just continual queen production. Losing like three queens here isn't that big of a deal because you just have so much money, so much more economy than your opponent. So he lost the Void Ray, unfortunately. He just has Phoenixes. Hydra are out, and now the rush is completely done with. So as far as units lost go, he lost, what was that, 13 units, most of those Zerglings from that earlier harass, but, you know, he lost, I think, 3 queens with this fight. He could have lost a few less if he had this them closer to the spore crawler, but in general, you know, it's not that big of a deal because let's look at the economy here. Look at that, 68 harvesters versus 55, huge lead there in the harvester count, and has a pretty good tech so far. He's got Hydralisks out, he has a spine crawler, or sorry, a Spire on the way, Groove Spines upgrade for his Hydra coming, +1 attack upgrade. So in general, he's in a pretty good position. He fought off that attack, just losing a couple queens. But look at this, he already has a third base up and going really well on the saturation so far. But that's just kind of the things you want to do to defend this harass is make a bunch of queens, make spore crawlers, and just scout your opponent. I mean, you have to scout your opponent first, but that's kind of what we're going for with this build is you just need to live long enough. You know, you do lose a couple units, you lose a queen or 2, but if you keep replacing your queens and have about 4 queens on average, you have 3 bases, 1 extra queen. You can have that queen laying creep tumors or, you know, whatever you want. But just have extra queens, spore crawlers, and eventually tech up to Hydra, and you'll be in a great position. You know, you'll have a huge economy lead over your opponent, and you'll be able to, from this point, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can kind of jump into whatever type of play style you're going for, but just the economy lead. Look at this mineral difference, 1880 versus 1580, and gas, big gas difference. So you have a huge lead. You fought off the rush. You're sitting pretty. I mean, the Protoss player with this rush probably didn't feel like it went too well for him. So now he's kind of like, okay, what do I do? I'm, behind a base. He's good economy. He already has a huge drone saturation, and with this many drones already, you can easily just start pumping out a bunch of units and then go take a third. But I think Sheth fought this off really well, and I think it's definitely a standard to go by for any of you aspiring Zerg players out there. Now that you know how to beat that strategy after watching Sheth do it, next time you see it on ladder, you're just going to be laughing. It's going to be the funniest thing ever. You're going to see him doing it, and you're going to be like, really? Stargates? Come on. That's pie. And it's just going to be a free win. You're going to be like, thanks for the free win. GG. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to be apprised of all my newest commentaries and strategy videos, just go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/EonShiKeno. Good luck in the ladder. Or it would be good luck on the ladder.